Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. This is Julia from Book Boost, and I'm glad that you all joined. We're gonna start pretty soon with the webinar. And first of all, I am super thankful that you all are here and joined us at this beautiful webinar. As I said, I'm Julia from Book Boost, and yeah, you are joining the session From Rooms to Relaxation, how hospitality brands can turn their stays into wellness experiences. And today we'll explore how wellness goes beyond treatment menus into kind of designing journeys and communication before, during, and after your stay. So here's our plan for today. We do a short intro with our amazing panelists that I'm super excited about. And then we'll start with some questions to our panelists. We also ask the audience some questions to be super engaging. And then we'll finish off with a Q&A where you can all ask your questions away. So joining me today is Kirsty from Muse.
Hi guys, nice to meet you. I'm Kirsty from Muse. Looking forward to the session and hopefully having some Q&A at the end, speaking to you live as well.
Perfect. Then we have also Michael from Finlo.
Hi, I'm Michael from Finlock. I'm delighted to share some insights that we've seen in Ireland.
And last but not least, we have also Magnus from Nook.
Hi, my name is Magnus. I'm from Nook Society. We're a community-focused hotel that connects people through work, well-being, and immersive experiences. We're located just 1 hour from Berlin.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here and to joining me at this beautiful session. And to kick things off, we're going to start with a quick poll to our audience and to just check out how and what does wellness mean to or mean most to you and your property today. So let's kick it off. Let's hit the poll and see what people are actually answering. So A, spa and relaxation. Then we have B, mindful guest experiences, slow travel, nature, balance. C, health focused food activities. And D, still figuring that out. So I'm excited to see what you all think and what you all do most. Wow. Okay. We have 100% so far mindfulness in the guest experience. Anything changes or are we done here? I think. Wow. Okay. That's great. I love to hear it that mindful guest experiences with slow travel, nature, balance is now we have so little of change. Also spa and relaxation facilities came in. And I think that's really cool to see that most of you think a mindful guest experience is the key. That's a really, really cool snapshot. So let's go and see what our brands in our panel are actually saying. So question to Magnus and Michael. Tell us a little bit more about your brand. What separates your properties from others? What kind of wellness experiences do your guests come for to your brands? Maybe we start with you, Michael.
I think we were very conscious that there is a bit of a lot of overlap in what people offer. When we looked at when we were starting out on our journey, we were very conscious of not just doing another typical spa where you go in. There's the 15-meter pool, and then there's a little jacuzzi in the corner and a sauna steam room. And so we were thinking, well, like people's view of what wellness is, like how do we move away from that and make it distinctive to us and make it something that we can really push and believe in. And I think that the results of the poll there are quite meaningful, because I think like anything really can be a mindful wellness experience if you approach it in the right mindset. I mean, there's certain times when I want to sit in front of a fire with a book, and to me that is the pinnacle of wellness. Whereas for other people and other times, activity and going out and sweating and running up a mountain is your version of wellness. So ours has evolved in two ways. One is around seeing a stay more as a journey. So there are times when you want the highs, like it's like a good film. Sometimes you want the action adventure, the car chase, and then you want the lull, that the slower element that goes after. And I think combining those is like creating a good song. It has lots of different bits, but different bits that are right in different times. And then the other part of that is trying to avoid cognitive overload for our guests. I think we all suffer from decision fatigue. So we don't want to be constantly making the guests choose, because making someone choose is making them stressed generally. So we're trying to say, well, look, if we are giving them choices, we're giving them binary choices, or something where they don't feel like by choosing route A, they're missing out by not taking route B. It's something they can do another time. Or so I think wellness is about just making them present, and making them present in what they're doing. So it's not specifically in the wet spa, it's whatever they're doing.
Yeah. I love the comparison with the movies. Absolutely. That is super cool. And what about you, Magnus?
Well, I think what when it comes to Nook, it's I think it's very important to understand that we did not start creating a concept around a product that we wanted to put. It was more a passion to celebrate the human art of hospitality, right? And that's our core driver, why we're doing stuff. And based on that, we looked at expectations and needs of what we believe is more like the next generation traveler.
Hmm.
I truly believe we're living in there's a generational shift in hotel guests that creates a specific new niche. And that was our first move. What do people actually want? And from there on, we created our concept. Nook is all about overnight stays. Yeah? It's also about corporate offsites that we offer a lot, that we combine with wellness or physical activity. It's about traditional retreats. It's about innovative retreats, from a swim retreat to the traditional yoga retreat, maybe. And it's about curated travels, so curated sports travels, where we bring together a group of people to go for a crazy 100K run in the mountains, a trail run. So it's really combining and activating the physical experience and combining that with business performance. I think that's probably the niche where you can best position Nook.
I love it. I love it. So you go hiking in the mountains of Berlin.
Well, not of Berlin, no, but every year we put together a crew of 20 to 30 people, and we go to the Infinite Trails in Bad Gastein and participate there. It's a race of 100K. The first person runs 20K with 1,900 meters altitude, and then goes up to 45K with, I think, 3,000, 4,000 meters of elevation. But that is. I think that's well-being. I think that's also kind of wellness, because it brings together people with a physical experience, and they achieve something together, no matter how fast you run, right? It's not
Yeah.
only about performance, it's about participation,
Yeah.
community, and that creates a wellness feeling. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
It comes together to what Michael said, right? It depends on how what wellness is actually to you, right? Is it really that physical activity, or is it to just be really mindful and do yoga sessions and breathing actions and massages and saunas, whatever it is to you. That's kind of what you decide as a guest what it is, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I think, and we've in our business, the other side of it is Phone, which is a tech platform we're building with Muse, which is all about sort of giving the guest control of their stay. So I think we like when we look back to sort of the things I loved from my childhood going away, it was going to a new place, but feeling like before there was Muse, before there was any of before there was so many tech platforms, before there was even tech, we had people on the front desk who would make it their responsibility to guide you through your stay. So you'd arrive the first day, and some nice lady or fella would sit down with a map and sort of start circling things and telling you, I love to go here for breakfast, or this is my favorite vineyard in the area. And it was that sort of human-led introduction to, and you could pick and choose which one of those circled areas you went to, but you had you had confidence that the person who was guiding you or was giving you those circles was speaking from personal experience, and you could rely on their recommendations. And so we're trying to find ways that we can do that with the hotel again, where if you're in the mood for a very active retreat, or you're in the mood for a very food focused retreat, you've got those options there that being curated by the people you trust in the hotel. And again, you're not getting overwhelmed by having to go on Google Maps and look at, star ratings and whatnot. You're gently led into it.
Amazing. Yeah. And taking the bridge now, because you were talking about Muse, Kirsty, why do you think is wellness such a strong driver in guest loyalty right now? What is it? What is that?
Yeah, I think even before I answer that question, it's quite interesting to see, even on this webinar, the four of us, what is wellness to Magnus is not wellness to me. It's the complete opposite. And I felt when we were talking about climbing mountains, my wellness levels were coming down and my stress levels at the thought of climbing a mountain was going up. So it just goes to show how different every person is and guest that obviously walks through your doors. I think wellness has become one of the most powerful drivers for guest loyalty today. And there has been a huge shift in customer priorities, particularly around and after the pandemic. I hate to mention the pandemic again, but it did change people a lot. And I think loyalty is now personal, emotional, and purpose driven than point driven. Travelers now definitely prioritize mental, physical, and emotional health more than ever, and this needs to be incorporated into every stay. I've also noticed as well on some OTAs that they've started to incorporate experiences as well, whether that just be a taxi from the train station to the hotel, airport, etc. So it's really interesting to see that they're kind of clocking on to this change in the industry also. I think hotels now can't just give points away to be memorable. They need to dive deeper to create memorable restorative moments, leaving guests feeling even better than they did when they first arrived. And that's obviously the whole point of a brand putting a mark on a guest walking through their door, is that they do remember you in the future.
Yeah.
Hopefully book with you directly through your booking engine to save on any commissions, and then you have that kind of guest for life. So I do think wellness isn't a department anymore in a hotel, like spa, therapy, therapists and things like that. It's actually becoming the DNA of hospitality, which is really interesting.
Absolutely. I'm hearing basically really a shift from what it used to be, like you have your spa rooms, and now it's getting more about your emotions towards that, your feelings, your time that you want to spend with something you really, really love. And yeah.
And I think that starts from the first touch point of a guest journey. So for me, I work for Muse, so I know a good booking engine. I love ours. But I'm looking for holidays at the moment, and I feel my stress levels going up when I start to click on a booking engine that might not be as intuitive or as seamless for the guest to kind of go through. That leaves a lasting impression to me, to the point sometimes where I'll actually come off of that booking engine and go and look at another hotel that has actually done it right.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, let's talk about like the shift and making what we just talked about reality in operations. So here's our second poll to our audience, to keep it engaging and everybody feels not too relaxed and falls asleep here while we're talking. So what's been the biggest challenge in adding or promoting wellness experiences in your hotels? Is it not enough budget or resources, staffing, right, and consistency? Tech systems, I mean, they don't support it, or the guests don't ask for it yet. So let's see how we get about this. So let's see, not enough budget and resources is now a leader. Wow, that hurts. Anything else that is coming up? I don't see anything. Well, that's really, really interesting. Not enough budget or resources. Might it be monetarily, or even if you don't have enough stuff. So yeah, let's start. That gives us basically the perfect setup for our how question. So Magnus, what are practical ways how hotels can adapt communication or tech to support wellness without overcomplicating things to actually, maybe get the resources they need?
Well, I think the way that I look at technology in general in hospitality is not necessarily from the same angle that most people look at it. I don't look at it from a cost saving perspective. I first look at it from a customer experience, and so I think it's the reason why we're talking about digital guest journeys and all this kind of stuff is because I would say 90% of the industry probably can still improve a lot there. For me, it's just the minimum. It's the bare standard. It's what our specific target group expects anyhow. Yeah. So for them, it's nothing special anymore, right? It's the fundamentals. If you don't have that, and if you don't get that right, you're not gonna win this next generation, because it's the first digital generation that is coming now to the market and now has the spending power. Yeah, I was born 79. I'm the last analog generation. Everybody after me is more digital and more digital and more digital, and that's a native, this is a normal thing. So that's the way that I look at it. So and if you look at it from that perspective, right, you communicate with the people when they communicate with their friends. And I think this is the fundamental perspective to get it right,
Yeah.
at least for us.
And to add something from my experience, so I was in a wellness hotel last week, and I booked several treatments because that's what wellness is actually to me, to just relax and have some dingly dangly music in my ears and just lay on this bed and be massaged from every corner. So I booked my first treatment. I haven't been to this hotel or to the spa area of this hotel before, and I didn't know where to go and what to do. I arrived at the reception just before my appointment, and the receptionist, the spa receptionist, looked at me and she gave me that weird look, and she's like, basically like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I have an appointment for this and this. And she just looked at me, and there was silence. Nothing else was said. And then she, like, after like a couple seconds, she just like nodded in a direction behind me to a seating area and just said, well, you can wait there. And I was like, oh, okay, that's really not how I want to start my spa experience. And then I thought, like, it would have been so easy to just like send me a WhatsApp, because I'm with my phone the entire time, even though I'm on a wellness experience. I have my phone with me because I want to enjoy myself and I want to do certain things on my phone during that. So it would have been great to just receive a short message on WhatsApp saying, hey, we're super happy that you're coming. When you arrive, there's a little seating area. Just grab a tea, sit down, relax, and we will get you once we're ready, right? So that would have made my experience so much better than this really awkward receptionist moment we had. So I think that definitely comes to your point as well, Magnus, here, right?
Yeah, I think like Magnus is like there's only really downside for hotels in the tech game. Like you don't you're not gonna win a client by doing tech. You can lose a client by doing it really badly, but like you said, it's the bare minimum. Like no one's saying, wow, they've got a booking engine. Congratulations, we'll book that one. But like what we find, Julia, is what that's a very typical story. There's two problems happen a lot. One is that they don't have a good tech flow, so that you get one either outside agency or one part of the hotel does all the communications through the various channels, WhatsApps, emails. And they have a certain tone, but then when you get to property, you get like either the person maybe doesn't know anything about what's gone out before, and it's just this lack of connection between what's going on across the hotel. If you're going to do tech, just like we always say, if you can't do it really well, don't do it at all. Just don't start a customer journey that's going to fall apart as soon as they get to the front desk, because it doesn't match them with what they've got. So we try and involve then our front desk teams and our spa teams, but everyone's using the same platform. Everyone's there feeding in and creating the customer journey so that when someone arrives, it's like, oh, well, look, if I don't know who you are already, which I should, give me 2 seconds and we'll just bring it up. We'll do it together and we'll get you into your therapist. There's no, like, there should be no one there that's, looks like, treats you like you just walked into,
Absolutely.
Maud Den.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do also think as well, Julia, that sounds like almost bad customer service, to be honest. You've got customer service that needs to be enhanced, but also wellness in the spa environment and in a check-in environment for me is also about human senses. So it could be smell, it could be touch, it could be sight. Are things represented in a nice way from sight? Does it smell like a very nice spa? And I actually judge hotel rooms sometimes by smell, because if I walk into a hotel room and it smells lovely, then I know that they've put the effort in to make it smell that way for me.
Yeah.
And on a random note, I walked into a lovely public bathroom the other day and it wasn't that great. It looked nice, but in the middle of a not a very nice area, but it smelled amazing. I remember that bathroom now, and this is like 2 weeks ago. So yeah, random thought, but definitely.
That's what wellness is to Kirsty, eh? Just a good
Exactly.
public bathroom with a nice smell.
And I'm done.
Everyone has their niches.
Nice, awesome. Thank you for your input here as well, Kirsty. So let's check also with our audience and see what they think guests actually care about most today in our third poll. So what do you think wellness guests care most about today? Is it feeling rested and recharged, connected to nature and local culture, personalized experiences, or the digital detox to have a peace of mind? Let's see. All right.
And I don't think there's really a right answer for this, is there? I mean, everybody's different. So as we've just figured out, Kirsty likes a nice smelling bedroom and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see what the poll results are.
Yeah, we have a very okay. So it's connection with nature or local culture is kind of leading, but we have A and C, so feeling rested and recharged, and personalized experiences right behind it. So that's also quite, I think, as Kirsty said, connection with, like, for everyone it's different, and I guess it's also depending on what kind of property you have. If you are a city property, you rather want to connect to the local culture. If you are a nature property with spa, it's nature. So it really depends on what you are. But I love this really, really much. It's really cool. Thank you for this cool poll. Whichever way you vote, it basically lives and dies, as we just discussed, with the details of the guest journey. So coming to the guest journey here, Michael, what is something you tried in the journey at your properties that worked, and potentially something that didn't work at all?
Yeah, I think I'll start with the bad bit first, maybe. I think, like, most hoteliers, post-pandemic, again, I'm putting along with Kirsty there, taking us back, but it's everyone tried to sort of move away from human interaction and trying to make everything very automated and very, everyone turned into sort of a version of Amazon. And we really, whilst it looked really efficient and it looked very good from efficiency point of view and ROI and whatnot, you could really see how important wellness and a stay was, how important it was to have that human interaction, that good human interaction. I mean, your story about the spa, like, that could have been saved by a charming front desk operator. Even if she didn't have your booking, humans can always pull it back with good personality. And I think, hospitality lives and dies by the interactions you have with the people in the hotel. And what we would be very tech forward, and we probably use that to our detriment. Now we pulled back to a position where it's because the enabler of the journey, but absolutely not anything more than that. So we have some amazing team members at Finlock, sommeliers, Yes, they're awful on computers, and when we try to when we try to make too much of their job about admin and IT, you lose the best bit of them, the bit that makes these are people who can just make you feel welcome in a space, whether it's the spa, the bar, the restaurant. They will know when to go over and approach you for that extra drink. They'll know when you want to chat, and they'll know when you want to be left alone. But so for us, it's important to make sure that the tech works for them, that the guest is well informed and is in the right place. They're not getting stressed. But then we want to be very clear that tech doesn't intrude on that very personal bit, and it leaves good staff members to basically do what they do best, which is look after their guests.
I love that because it also emphasizes now basically you have to have both, right? You have to have the super engaged staff members that love what they do, and you also have to have the tech that supports them in doing all that, and not doing all the boring admin stuff and sending messages to guests and newsletters and whatever it is, right? So
Well, we probably spend as much in our internal CRM as we do in our external. Like we would do it like how we communicate internally and make sure everyone's prepared so that they sort of know a little bit about guests to enable them to go over and have a good conversation is as important as telling the guests what's going to happen. So it's like, yeah.
Love that. That is so important. And Magnus, when wellness is part of your brand, how does that change your communication? Like during the stay, before, during, after the stay, like what is happening there?
Well, I think that what we did with Nook, Nook is not a brand, right? She's a character. She's a real person. We created this a character around Nook, and we know she traveled around the world. We created a whole story around it, right? She becomes a personality, and that actually was extremely helpful. It happened by accident, but the result is extremely helpful when it comes to digital communication, because it's always just one person Nook that you're speaking to. So she's kind of virtual with a very specific character, with very specific wording, with very specific experiences. So our brand does not only speak through the website, through the images, but also through the day-to-day communication. And I think that is something that, yeah, well, that's something that is it becomes a personal journey, right? So it's not that, hey, we got this offer 25% discount on our sauna stays until the end. Bamba, all this is not there, right? But it's more like, hi Julia, look, I have a free slot in the sauna this afternoon. I can give you 25% discount. I can give you 25% discount, and that's the shift in where suddenly the whole thing becomes very personal, and I think that was very helpful for us, and it resonates with our guests very good.
I love the idea that you created this character, because I think that's basically what everyone is actually doing, but to a certain extent only. They don't go the full way. Like for me, working in sales, I'm a storyteller. Like I have to build stories and around everything to make you feel connected to it. So I think that is also what you did with Nook, to create the story to feel more connected and have this personal feeling like, hey, they know me, they understand me. This brand is exactly what I was looking for. So I think that is a great takeaway here, to build the story around your property, around your brand, around yourself, to take it out and sell it then basically to your guests, right?
Yeah, I mean, at least it works with us, right? Think about your values, what you really stand for, and then you can start packaging it up.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And maybe she's there, right?
Yeah,
Look,
exactly.
always, she just left. Sorry. She just walked out. Oh my God, you missed her again. So she's always there. She's there in every communication. And I think that's something, it gives a kind of magical
yeah,
thing
like
to this. You don't know how old she is, right? She might be 24 or 65.
Yeah.
Look's not about age. It's about values.
Love it.
And it's
I love that idea. I really do. Perfect. And now we're going to zoom out a little bit and see, okay, where is this all heading to? Like we had so great examples here to Kirsty. So how do you see wellness shaping the future of hospitality? So what is next?
I think we're all, with AI, definitely, in terms of tech. Obviously, with AI, we're in our infancy at the moment, and it's evolving day by day. But I do think that AI will have a massive influence on wellness, particularly identifying certain customers' wellness and experiences that they treasure themselves. And Muse already does this to a degree with our smart tips. So it will collate all of the data about the guest. It might tell you what was the favorite drink that a customer has ordered the most of. And if someone came over and gave me a mojito because I ordered 10 of them on my last day, I'd be pretty happy when I left that property. So yeah, I do think trends and AI definitely going to have a huge influence. But then going back to what I said earlier about the lighting, the design, the smell of the property, all of these things, the senses are things that make people remember, plus amazing customer service, of course. But amazing customer service should already be there today. So just grow on that. I also do think that there could be more potential for surveys. So in a spa, if we go back to that for a moment, a lot of the time spa will ask you to fill in a survey before you arrive, whether you want a quiet room, whether you have sensitive skin, whatever it may be. But I think there will be automation on surveys sent to guests prior to arrival to ensure that wellness is level of wellness is met when a guest is in-house. And there's obviously great tech out there already for pre-stay. So on that booking journey, other companies that can sit on top of your website that will identify Kirsty booked a X package last time. So we're going to market to her again and try and drive her to that area of our website for our new experience under that same kind of experience segment. So yeah, there's so much to come. But again, it's interesting to hear Magnus and Michael talk about their different ways of delivering wellness. So yeah, it's individual to the brand itself.
Yeah.
I think Magnus's this idea of the personality of the hotel, it's like, I mean, I suppose like all hoteliers, we're scared a little bit with the amount of AI coming in, but also like excited, I suppose, if it can be deployed cleverly. I mean, I really like the idea, Kirsty, about getting more information on your guests. It's just I hate the idea of like making them fill stuff in and making them answer. I'm here to relax, leave me alone, get that clipboard out of my face. But what we've just brought in a new GM from with a background in sort of Forbes training and stuff like that, and it's amazing how much he's now getting the team to like almost do surveys subtly. The person giving them the lift in the golf buggy to the room, you're probing that and almost recording everything. So as soon as they get back from dropping that guest off, they've got like 4 or 5 updates to give on that guest. Like they found out this, they found out that. So you're kind of trying to pull this all together, and that's where obviously things like where you can enable AI to pull all that information and start building this in the same way you've sort of Nooks a personality. You're getting a very clear personality view of your guest because there's 4 or 5 or more different people feeding in, and that's when you can deliver, because that's like you do go away for the smells and the nice spaces, but people generally want to feel to be seen and heard, and so that you remember that I like mojito, you remember that I like it this way. You've taken the time to remember what maybe a story I told you last time, and that's done in a genuine way is the essence of good hospitality and good wellness.
Absolutely. And I love that you also mentioned like the people need to feed the AI, right? With the right information about the guests. This is nothing that an AI can do to ask the questions, right? Hey, how do you feel about this? And what is it about this? It's the people that are actually doing it and feeding it. And then the AI will empower the people that are talking to the guests then even more.
I think the more technology and AI comes to our world, the more physical interactions and things in real world become more valuable. I don't know if like how to say that right, but I think it gives such a huge chance, right? The other day we had a retreat by Alex Kopp, Confidence Club, amazing concept she created, and she put on every room like her journal for journaling, right, and a little pen next to it. It's incredible how this like it's not a conflict of this one hand super digital technology experience, right? And then on the other hand, this journaling situation where you just sit there with a pencil and start writing again with your hand, right? This experience. So I think if you really like, yeah, if you look at it from this perspective, it creates a lot of opportunities that people love to do actually, and will then remember because it's not so not so usual anymore, and or not an everyday thing you do.
Yeah, it's
Um,
not a
So,
threat.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that like technology is sort of, well, AI coming into the hospitality industry is pushing us into these two contrasting extremes. On one hand, the hotels will be rewarded for bringing very cutting edge technology in, but equally to bring it in, you need to also kind of go on the other extreme where you're kind of pushing technology out of some spaces. So going back to the basics of journaling, like the best input from the AI will come from the people in our organizations who are the worst with technology. So that sommelier, because he's such an amazing personality, so warm, will be the guy who gets the most the nuggets of information that would feed the technology. So you kind of have to pair these two contrasting people up. Who's going to get the real core good information from a guest, and that'll help build a better guest experience. But they probably like it's quite a hard it's quite a juxtaposition. It's hard to get your head around how that's going to
yeah,
play out. How do you, because if you just do it in a really, no one will tell anything personal to a chatbot. That's just,
Yeah.
no one's going to tell you
yeah.
anything of any use. So it creates a lot of odd scenarios.
Well,
Absolutely.
if the chatbot is trained right, sorry, right. But by the way, I'm a huge fan of your product. I think it's fantastic. It so resonates with me. Every picture that you drop is really like wow. So
Have you
props
made your booking yet, Magnus?
and
Yeah.
hats off so far. Really, really cool. And but one thing, like I think when you train the chatbot right, again, like if you give it a character, if you give it a story of the playlists of the things, the journals, the magazines that you read, blah blah blah, and all this kind of content, that then suddenly, yes, AI, you will tell AI stuff, or the chatbot personal stuff, because it's a different level of interaction. I think it goes more and more into this direction. But the magic is always, to me, when somebody drops a message like, "Hey, can we light a bonfire this evening in the garden?" Right? And this comes in as a message, and then at the end there's the bonfire, there's the bottle of wine, and nothing else. Right? No phone, maybe a little playlist in the background, but that's the perfect combination of the two, and that for me is a well-being or wellness moment.
Absolutely. So yeah, that was a perfect kind of closing a statement here for us and for this beautiful session. I really, really enjoyed it. So let's bring in the audience and see if they have any questions for the last couple of minutes that we have. So let's check in with them. Are there any questions that we see? I see one here. Bum, bum. So there is no sound, Jasper. Okay, that's it. I think I don't see anything. I'm just asking my people in the background. Are there any questions from our audience that I don't see? Matilda, how do you decide what's worth the spend? Which wellness experience will pay off? So, anyone to answer this question? How do you decide on what?
Like we like when we started out with Finlock, we had like these in our back pocket to get the thing off the ground. So we remember what it was like, to be, we still are very budget conscious, but we remember what it was like to literally have, like, you couldn't go out and buy a spa, you couldn't buy a pre-made wellness experience. But when you're in that position, like I always say, when we're designing something new, it's almost better to have constraints. Constraints, fire your creativity because they give you like the boundaries to play in. And I think good wellness experiences will probably come out of tighter budgets. When you've got lots of budgets, you waste money and you get dragged, with a fancy sauna system or a fancy hot tub, and you end up just going down the route that's probably already been done. I think when people really sit and think about, find out what wellness means in their area to them for their specific location, they'll come up with something much more creative. So I think try and not get too hung up on not having the budget, because like we said, a wellness experience can be sitting around a bonfire. Our early wellness experiences were watching sunset with a fire pit and the drink that you chose. And that didn't cost anything. It cost a bit of wood. And that's, I think, like, and people still ask for that now, even though I'm like, but look, there's a, 30,000 euro hot tub here. Like, what are you doing asking for? And I actually preferred the fire pit. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, that's. I wish you told me that before I went and wasted the money on the fancy hot tub. But it was that's a real eye opener for us. Like, people actually prefer those ones where there's actually a bit of soul in it, and that you don't need money for that. You just need time and just really think about it and build it.
Love that. So you can have the wellness experience. That was actually a really great idea. I think I should email that wellness hotel last week and tell them to do a little bit more there. Kirsty, anything you want to add to this question?
I think Magnus is probably better to answer it from that kind of hotel perspective.
Kirsty will just suggest like a toilet with some candles around it, like some toilet and some scented candles.
That's all everyone's going to remember me for now. Thanks for that, Michael.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we have another question as well coming from Sharona. Is there any low-hanging fruits when it comes to wellness? So is there anything, I think, Michael, you mentioned already, hey, having that bonfire is potentially for some already a wellness experience. Any other ideas around that? Any low-hanging fruits?
A bonfire was good for us. It might be a complete fire hazard for others, I suppose. But I think it really, I'm sure Magnus will echo this, it's really about place. Like, the bonfire works if you've got something to look at. Like, our bubbles don't work if you stick them in a parking lot, obviously.
Would look like a little...
Yeah, it might work for certain people but it's not the market we're after. So I think it's about, like, most of hospitality is about place and the people. What are the skill sets of the team we have? They're like, I could watch a woodworker turning a piece of wood and whistling, and that for me would be quite relaxing and enjoyable. Just like the smell of the wood and explain what he's doing. To other people that might be very dull, but like, it's try and just not copy what everyone else is doing. There's far too much of that in hospitality, where people see a good idea and then just do that idea. Like just go on, even if it's bad, you'll learn. It's like band lottery. Like, if you win with your own idea, you're going to win big. Like, even if you win by copying someone else's idea, you're not going to win very much, because someone will copy you then very easily.
Yeah, perfect.
I think if there's one thing that we figured, it's not about this. We do put it other ways. We do a lot of corporate offsites, where people come with their team to think about this strategy, not in the standard boardroom, right, but outside, and get inspiration, new inspiration to really, like, I don't know, write this next chapter. And very often we start and we recommend when hey, just the first thing you do is a walk and talk. It's very simple. It's very simple. 2 people, always send your team, always 2 people for a walk and talk around the lake or in the woods. Magic. And nothing we need to do.
Yeah. Love it. Super awesome. I love this idea. I think we have one more question and then we need to round it up. Most chatbots now sound very business-like. What changes are needed to build a better experience and give a good representation of the hotel's identity? This is coming from Hilario.
I do know quite a few chatbots now can be customized on the way of speech. So depending on the brand, I know a brand that speaks in a different way, and they'll say "whatto" or "hello there," whereas you might be more Gen Z and talk more down with the kids. So you can tailor these AI, these chatbots to actually represent your brand in a certain way. You can choose the gender of the person that's talking and things like that, and sign off with your brand like Nook do. So yeah, I think having a tool where you're able to do that really helps.
Absolutely. And I agree with you here in terms of technology, there are so many ways now to really emphasize your language and how do you want to communicate with your audience there. One last question, and then we'll have to finish off because otherwise we are way over our budgeted time here. There's also a question: can safaris be considered wellness? Nothing beats being in the wild. No scented candles, but bonfires are closed with lots of woods and smells. I can answer that. For me, a safari is awesome, but I know also a lot of people that are afraid of snakes and spiders and everything. For them, it's probably not so wellnessy at all. But I love animals, so for me, definitely a safari could be wellness and could be just an amazing experiences, right? It's, as we said, I think it's all about how people presume their personal wellness experience as a true enlightening and engaging experience. So yes, thank you so much, Christy, Michael, and Magnus for joining me today at this amazing session. I really had a lot of fun, and I hope that we'll see us soon again.